It started with laughter, the kind of laughter that only exists between two people who believe nothing could ever break them apart. Sophia and Mia had been inseparable since high school. They were the type of friends people admired and envied, two halves of the same soul. Where Sophia was calm, thoughtful, and kind, Mia was bold, wild, and free. They balanced each other perfectly. Everyone said they were sisters born from different mothers. They studied together, dreamed together, and when they both moved to the city after graduation, they even rented the same apartment. Life was loud, busy, and full of hope. Sophia worked as a designer in a small fashion studio, while Mia climbed quickly in a marketing firm, charming everyone she met. Every evening, they would share stories of their day over coffee and cheap takeout, laughing about office drama and love lives that never seemed to work out. For Sophia, friendship wasn't just companionship, it was family. She had no siblings, and her parents lived far away, so Mia became her world. Whenever Sophia succeeded, Mia was the first to celebrate. Or so she thought. It began with small things, moments so subtle that Sophia ignored them. The way Mia would interrupt her when she spoke about her work. The sudden jokes that felt a little too sharp. The way Mia's compliments started sounding like backhanded praise. But friendship has a way of blinding you. You don't look for poison in the cup someone hands you every day. Then came Ethan. He was quiet, intelligent, with a gentle confidence that drew people in. He met Sophia first, during a corporate collaboration between her design studio and Mia's firm. Sophia didn't fall fast, but she fell deeply. Their connection was effortless, late-night talks, shy smiles, shared dreams. For the first time, she felt like she had found something real. She told Mia everything. How his eyes lingered when she laughed. How he remembered the smallest details about her. Mia listened, smiling sweetly, as if truly happy for her friend. A month later, everything changed. Ethan stopped calling as often. Messages went unanswered. The warmth that once filled Sophia's days began to fade. One night, when she tried to surprise him at his office, she froze in the hallway. Through the glass door, she saw Mia, sitting on Ethan's desk, laughing, leaning in far too close. Ethan's hand brushed her arm. Their eyes met, and in that split second, the world fell silent for Sophia. She didn't enter. She didn't scream. She just stood there, watching the two people she trusted most, wrapped in something she couldn't yet name. When she confronted Mia later, her voice trembled. "Is there something you need to tell me?" Mia didn't even flinch. She smiled, a slow, practiced smile, and said, "Sophia, don't be ridiculous. We're just friends. Maybe you're overthinking again. But lies have a certain sound. They ring too perfectly." Within weeks, Sophia knew. She didn't need proof, she felt it. Ethan grew distant. Mia grew colder. The laughter in the apartment disappeared. One evening, she found Ethan's scarf on Mia's chair. The scent was unmistakable. That night, Sophia packed her things silently. Mia didn't stop her. For months, Sophia drifted through her days like a ghost. She moved into a small apartment across town, stopped going out, stopped smiling. The betrayal had burned something deep inside her, not just love, but trust. She replayed every memory in her head, looking for signs she missed. How long had they lied to her face? How long had Mia been planning this? But grief, when it sits long enough, turns into something else. It turns into clarity. Then, into resolve. Sophia realized revenge wasn't always about destruction, sometimes it was about revelation. She didn't want to hurt Mia physically. She wanted her to feel the truth, the kind of pain that comes when the mask falls off and the world finally sees you for who you really are. So, she began to plan, quietly, patiently. It started small. Sophia had connections in the design world, and she knew people at Mia's firm from past collaborations. Word had spread that Mia was ambitious, too ambitious. She often took credit for others' ideas. Sophia knew how to use that. She reached out to one of the firm's senior directors under the pretense of consulting for a new branding project. During the meeting, she casually mentioned an ongoing campaign Mia had been leading. Only, she changed a few crucial details, enough to sound like insider knowledge, but different enough to raise suspicion. Within days, the director called for an audit. Emails were checked. Files were reviewed. And soon, whispers began, that Mia had presented Sophia's old design drafts as her own months earlier. The company's confidence in her began to crack. Meanwhile, Ethan's career was also tied to the same firm's projects. The tension between him and Mia grew as the rumors spread. She blamed him for not defending her, he accused her of lying to him about the past. Their perfect image started to crumble. Sophia didn't smile. Not yet. This wasn't about vengeance, it was about balance. She wanted Mia to experience what betrayal really felt like, not from an enemy, but from the person she thought would always stand beside her. Weeks later, Mia called Sophia for the first time since she left. Her voice was shaky. "Sophia, we need to talk." Sophia agreed to meet her at a quiet cafe downtown. When she walked in, she saw a version of Mia she barely recognized, tired eyes, forced confidence, the shine gone from her face. Mia tried to start lightly. "You look good. How have you been?" Sophia just looked at her. "Why did you call me, Mia?" Mia hesitated. Things have been hard lately. The company is turning against me. Ethan and I, don't," Sophia interrupted softly. "Don't talk about him." For a moment, silence filled the space between them. Then Mia's expression shifted, from guilt to frustration. "You don't understand, Sophia. You had everything. Everyone liked you. You always looked so perfect. I was tired of being in your shadow. He liked you first, but you never even saw how lucky you were. I just wanted something for myself for once." Sophia stared at her, stunned. The betrayal had an explanation, but no justification. She stood up slowly, leaving her coffee untouched. "You wanted something for yourself, Mia. Now you have it. I hope it was worth losing everything else." She turned and walked away, her heart steady. For the first time in months, she felt light. But her story didn't end there. What Sophia didn't know was that Mia, desperate and spiraling, was about to do something reckless, something that would drag Sophia back into the storm she thought she had escaped. Because revenge, once set in motion, doesn't stop when you walk away. It circles back. It waits. It grows in the dark corners of regret, and soon, Sophia would realize that the real game had only just begun. Sophia didn't return to her old life, but she didn't disappear either. She moved like a shadow, observing, planning, and letting every small detail sink into her mind. Mia had underestimated her, assumed that once she left, she would vanish into sadness or bitterness. But Sophia had learned something crucial. Revenge isn't about rage, it's about patience, precision, and timing. She started by tracking Mia's routines, not out of obsession, but to understand the rhythm of her betrayal. Where she went, whom she met, the projects she handled, even the little habits she assumed were private, Sophia noted them all. She discovered that Mia had started dating someone new, a young investor in her firm. Their relationship seemed passionate on the surface, but Sophia could see the cracks, Mia's desperation, the way she tried too hard to impress, the way she underestimated the consequences of her own lies. Sophia also kept her connections warm. In the corporate world, a whisper can destroy reputations faster than a storm. She spoke casually to colleagues, dropping subtle hints about Mia's missteps, her manipulation of projects, her tendency to take credit for others' ideas. It was never direct, never accusatory. Just enough to seed doubt, enough to make people start questioning. Meanwhile, Sophia cultivated her own new life, a persona polished, distant, untouchable. She started attending industry events, networking, and showcasing her talents subtly, but powerfully. People who once overlooked her now began noticing her brilliance, not as the girl overshadowed by Mia, but as a force to be reckoned with. Then came the first real test of her plan. Mia had been working on a high-profile project that could make or break her career. The project was complex, and she relied heavily on her team. Sophia, knowing the stakes, subtly encouraged one of Mia's junior colleagues, someone ambitious and impressionable, to double-check Mia's calculations. It wasn't sabotage, at least not in the traditional sense. It was reality, exposing cracks that already existed. The junior colleague found an error, a significant miscalculation that could cost the company millions. When the news reached the higher-ups, the project was put on hold, and Mia had to answer for her oversight. Panic replaced her confidence. For the first time, people began looking at her not as an unstoppable force, but as a human who could falter. Sophia watched from afar, careful to remain unseen. She didn't smile. Not yet. This was just the beginning, a reminder that actions have consequences, and betrayal, no matter how cleverly disguised, always leaves a trail. Mia, meanwhile, sensed a shift. People around her began whispering, meetings felt colder, trust eroded. She started feeling isolated, and that was when fear began to seep in. For someone like Mia, control was everything. Without it, she floundered. The more she tried to hold on to her image, the more it slipped away. Sophia's plan wasn't just professional, it was psychological. She knew that betrayal hurts most when it comes from someone you trust, when you believe the world and your closest allies are aligned, only to realize you're alone. So, she began leaving subtle reminders of her presence in Mia's life. A message, cleverly worded, appearing at the exact moment Mia thought she was safe. A social media post showcasing Sophia's success, but ambiguous enough to provoke Mia's curiosity and envy. Small, calculated, constant, like water eroding stone. And then came the personal layer. Sophia knew Ethan still lingered in their shared memories, and while she had long moved past him, Mia hadn't. She had underestimated Sophia's emotional control. Sophia subtly allowed word to spread that she was dating someone new, someone unattached to Mia's circles, someone whose success made Mia reconsider all her past choices. The jealousy was slow-burning, insidious, and deliciously precise. One evening, Mia confronted Sophia at a networking event, trying to assert dominance, to reclaim her lost ground. "Sophia, I don't know what game you're playing," Mia said, her voice sharp but unsteady. Sophia looked at her calmly, almost kindly. "No game, Mia. Just life. You'll see how it unfolds." Mia laughed, nervously. "You think you can take everything from me?" Sophia's gaze didn't waver. "No. I just want you to understand what it feels like to lose control. That's all." From that moment, Mia began unraveling in ways Sophia had anticipated. Her colleagues, who once feared Mia, started questioning her decisions openly. Her boyfriend began doubting her motives as subtle lies and half-truths leaked into their relationship. Even her closest supporters grew wary, noticing inconsistencies, the cracks in her charm. The real beauty of Sophia's revenge, though, wasn't the professional humiliation. It was the awakening, forcing Mia to confront herself, her choices, and the emptiness her betrayal had caused. Sophia didn't shout, didn't attack. She simply existed, quietly, like a shadow she could never fully escape. Every whispered rumor, every opportunity that slipped through Mia's fingers, every glance of doubt in a colleague's eyes, Sophia orchestrated without ever touching Mia directly. Weeks passed, and Mia's confidence crumbled further. She tried frantic measures, manipulating others, lying, attempting to regain control, but each action only tightened the net Sophia had woven. Every decision she made revealed the depth of her own vulnerabilities. Her friendships fractured, her romantic relationship faltered, and her professional credibility was in shambles. It was during this period of chaos that Sophia decided to confront Mia one final time, not with rage, but with clarity. She invited her to a quiet cafe, the same one from their first confrontation. Mia arrived, anxious, her facade cracking under the weight of her failures. Sophia greeted her with a composed smile. "Do you see now?" she asked softly. "Do you understand what betrayal costs?" Mia's eyes flickered with fear and disbelief. I don't know what you mean." "You took what wasn't yours," Sophia replied. "Not just him, not just the projects, but my trust. You assumed loyalty was permanent. But everything has a price." Mia's hands trembled, her voice barely a whisper. I didn't mean to hurt you." Sophia's expression softened, almost pitying. "Intentions don't erase consequences. You wanted to win at any cost. Now you've lost more than you could ever imagine. And the strange thing? You'll never fully recover from knowing that someone you thought powerless could orchestrate all this, quietly, patiently, without ever touching you directly." Mia sat in silence, finally beginning to grasp the scope of Sophia's precision. It wasn't just revenge. It was understanding, it was justice, and it was inevitable. Sophia had taken something far greater than she could have imagined, the clarity of truth, the power of patience, and the satisfaction of seeing deception meet its consequence. And yet, even in victory, Sophia didn't gloat. Her revenge was complete, but her soul remained intact. She had been patient, precise, and thoughtful, and in doing so, she had become stronger than the person who had tried to destroy her. Mia, for the first time, understood the weight of betrayal. And Sophia, for the first time in months, felt a quiet, lasting peace. Sophia didn't rush. She knew the final act of her revenge required timing, precision, and a touch of inevitability. Mia had faltered enough in her career, in her relationships, and in her confidence. But the true impact, the part that would leave her shaking in the silence of her own mistakes, had to be personal, unforgettable, and undeniable. It started with an anonymous message. Mia received a file titled, "Truth You Can't Hide." Curious, terrified, she opened it. Inside were screenshots, emails, and documents, evidence of every deceit she had orchestrated over the past year. Every stolen idea, every lie to colleagues, every manipulation of Ethan's feelings, every secret she had assumed Sophia would never uncover. It was all laid bare. Mia's first reaction was disbelief. "No, this can't be real." But as she scrolled, reading through her own words and actions, panic set in. Her perfect world, meticulously constructed, was crumbling in her hands. People she trusted began calling her, questioning her integrity, doubting her achievements. Sophia had left nothing to chance. Every detail of Mia's betrayal was documented, verified, and ready to expose. And then came the final confrontation, not in public, not with screaming, but in a place Mia would least expect. Sophia invited her to the rooftop of the building where Mia's firm was headquartered. The sun was setting, painting the city in shades of orange and gold. For a moment, it looked peaceful, too peaceful for what was about to happen. Mia arrived, her heels clicking nervously on the concrete floor. She tried to keep her composure, but every step betrayed her anxiety. Sophia was already there, leaning against the railing, calm and composed, looking down at the city like she owned it. "Mia," Sophia said, her voice soft but firm. "You've been hiding behind lies for too long. Do you know why? Mia swallowed hard. Because I had to. I needed to. You needed to betray me? To hurt everyone around you for what? Power? Attention? Approval? Sophia's voice was steady, each word slicing through the tension. Look around. You think people admire you now? You think your boyfriend respects you? You've built a life on sand, Mia. And I've been watching it all collapse, quietly, patiently, perfectly. Mia stepped back, shaking. Sophia, please? I didn't know you could. I didn't think. You underestimated me, Sophia interrupted. And that's your mistake. Then she handed Mia a small envelope. Inside was a USB drive. Everything is here, Sophia said. All the proof of your lies, all the manipulations, all the secrets you thought you buried. This goes to your company, your investors, everyone who trusted you. They'll see who you really are. And there's nothing you can do to stop it now. Not because I'm cruel, but because the truth deserves to be seen. Mia's face turned pale. Her voice trembled. You can't, you wouldn't. Sophia's lips curved into a faint, serene smile. I wouldn't need to. You set this stage for me. I just waited. The real twist wasn't the exposure itself, though that was devastating. The twist was the way Sophia had done it, invisible, untouchable, perfect. She had orchestrated Mia's downfall without raising a hand, without breaking the law, without appearing vengeful. Mia's own arrogance, deceit, and hunger had led her here, and Sophia had only guided the inevitable. As the sun dipped below the horizon, painting the sky blood orange, Mia realized the depth of her failure. Every step she had taken to gain an advantage, every friendship she had twisted, every lie she had told, all of it had been her own undoing. She felt hollow, stripped of the power she had coveted so fiercely. Sophia didn't gloat. She didn't need to. Watching Mia crumble, seeing the weight of consequence settle in, was enough. You wanted to control everything, Mia, she said quietly. Now you understand what it feels like to be powerless. Not angry. Not vengeful. Just exposed. And exposed people have nowhere to hide. Mia sank to her knees, tears streaming, her carefully constructed world shattered. Please. I'm sorry, she whispered, broken. Sophia looked down at her, and for the first time, a single tear threatened to fall. But she blinked it away. Compassion mixed with clarity. Sorry doesn't undo betrayal. But maybe it will teach you humility. As Sophia walked away from the rooftop, the city lights flickering below, she felt lighter than she had in years. The storm that had consumed her heart was over. Revenge, she realized, wasn't about cruelty, it was about justice, patience, and reclaiming your own peace. She had not only avenged herself but had restored balance in her life. Days later, news broke in the corporate world. Mia's misconduct, misrepresentation of projects, and manipulations were confirmed by independent audits. Investors withdrew, colleagues distanced themselves, and her reputation, painstakingly built over years, lay in ruins. The story spread fast. Some were shocked, some were relieved. But everyone agreed, the downfall had been complete, precise, and inevitable. Sophia, meanwhile, was flourishing. Her design studio gained new clients, her projects soared, and her confidence radiated. People admired her not just for her talent, but for the grace with which she handled betrayal and adversity. She had been broken, but she had emerged stronger, smarter, untouchable. And the most satisfying part? Sophia never needed to raise her hand in anger. She never needed to speak harsh words, never needed to humiliate publicly. The universe, guided by her patience and strategy, had done what needed to be done. She had proven that true revenge wasn't about emotion, it was about wisdom, timing, and self-mastery. One evening, as Sophia walked through the city streets, she passed a familiar cafe. Mia sat alone by the window, head bowed, face pale and weary, pretending to read a book. She didn't notice Sophia, who paused for a moment, watching silently. A faint smile touched Sophia's lips. This was the moment she had imagined for months, the moment when betrayal met consequence, and the world had finally balanced itself. Sophia turned away, stepping into the night. For the first time in years, she felt peace, not hollow, not fleeting, but profound. The storm of betrayal, deception, and heartbreak had passed. And in its place, there was clarity, strength, and freedom. She whispered to herself, almost like a mantra, trust wisely. Betray wisely. But never forget, patience is the deadliest form of justice. And with that, Sophia disappeared into the city lights, leaving behind a story that would echo in the lives of those who underestimated her, a story of betrayal, revenge, and ultimate triumph.